A few weeks ago, I uploaded a video that centered around one of Lil Wayne's videos. It showed the similarities between some of the images in Lil Wayne's video and some racist cartoons that were made in the 1940s. I had intended to make a follow-up video to get deeper into what exactly I was trying to point out in those videos, but I never got around to it. But now that I'm making a response video to someone who misunderstood the video, I'm going to go ahead and make this video. First of all, that video really wasn't about Lil Wayne or Soulja Boy, because he was in there too. It's about the scary thought that a lot of times you can get black people to go along with something or not be alarmed by something as long as they see a black face. What do you mean by that? Well, I'll give you a real life example and then I'll show you how that applies to some of today's rap. I'm sure most of you have heard of Margaret. If you haven't, just put her name into the search engine in YouTube and it'll pull up videos about her. She's a white woman who founded Planned Parenthood, and she founded it because she was alarmed by the growing Negro population and she wanted to slow it down. She wanted to do this without black people actually knowing what she was trying to do, which is reduce their numbers. She wanted black people to start using birth control, if not just outright sterilize them. But if she, a white lady, had gone to the black population and said, hey, y'all Negroes need to start using some birth control, they probably would have caught wind of what she was trying to do and they wouldn't have gone for it. Miss Sanger understood this, so what did she do? She said, let's hire 2 or 3 black preachers and get them to sell this idea to black people. Why? Well, for one, because black people trust their preachers, and for 2, black people trust other black people, at least in this sense. So let's contrast those two things. On one hand, we have a white lady saying, y'all black people need to use some birth control. And on the other hand, we have a black preacher saying, we need to use birth control. See, if the preacher says we, then that means he's including himself. So, he wouldn't give us advice that he wouldn't take himself, so it must be okay. Plus, he's a preacher, so the Lord must have gave him this message. So there we have black people going along with an idea just because the person who delivered the message was black. It doesn't matter whether the message is good or bad, you just have to package it right and get the right color person to deliver the package. It's for this reason that I can show images from a 1940s cartoon where the characters have this pitch black skin with these light colored lips. They have adorned themselves with all sorts of elaborate jewelry including gold teeth and big medallions, and they shuck and jive and do all sorts of stereotypical stuff, and black people see that and they'll be offended. But you put that same stuff in a rap video and only a few people get upset. Most people, including our young people, are not alarmed. Why? Because they see black faces. Here's an example of this from one of Soulja Boy's video and it just sickens me. Look at this character right here. Big lips, big teeth, cheesing into the camera, shucking and jiving around. At one point in the video it bites some bamboo in half and then throws it. And it doesn't speak, it just makes noises kind of like Tasmanian Devil. I made a video about this on my other account and I was surprised how unalarmed young people were by this image. They would leave comments on my video telling me to stop hating. But if this same character were on the Ku Klux Klan's website or even in a white person's video, there would be all sorts of marching up and down the streets by black people. Some of the same black people who will look at this in a Soulja Boy video or a Lil Wayne video and say nothing. Now, let's just say that someone out there didn't want black people to go to school. They wouldn't be able to just put up signs saying black people don't go to school because that's too obvious. And, that would make black people want to go to school. Hey, they don't want us to go to school. They must be hiding something at school, so we better go. But if you make videos such as Soulja Boy's video called Ya, where in the beginning of the video, Soulja Boy and one of his buddies is playing video games, and he gets a phone call from some grown-up telling him to go to school, and he just laughs and continues to play his video games. At the end of the video, Soulja Boy speaks of getting all F's on his report card, and he goes up to the teacher's desk and tells her to throw some D's on it. Then the whole classroom erupts into a riot where the kids are throwing paper, standing on the desk, and just totally wilding out. The video essentially turns going to school and getting an education into a big joke. Also, since rappers are portrayed as these super popular people who are living large and got all the fly honeys, and since you don't need to go to school to become a rapper, that's even more incentive for young black boys not to take education seriously. Rap videos don't tell little black boys that the chances of them hitting it really big with rap is very slim. And it doesn't really even matter how good you are at rapping. A lot of it has to do with being in the right place at the right time and knowing the right people. Moving on. Let's say someone wants black people to be consumers and not producers. So what do? They pack hip-hop, rap, and R&B videos with commercials. Well, what do you mean? Well, have you ever heard of product placement? In a movie, that's when they have a character interact with a product, or they just have the product somewhere in the background. Whenever you're watching a movie or a show and you see a character sipping a Coke or munching on a Snickers bar, that isn't in there by accident. That's planned. That's a little mini commercial for that product. There are probably hundreds of little mini commercials in one rap video alone. There are car commercials, shoe commercials, hair commercials, phone commercials, rim commercials. There's a constant bombardment with consumerism and materialism, so that some black people will spend any extra money they have, or even money that they can't afford to spend, on things that will depreciate as soon as they take them out of the package. Rap isn't about the music anymore. It's about sending subliminal messages and selling people stuff. And it's not just rap, it's a lot of other forms of music that are aimed at young people as well. Today's rap, some of it, is not our music. It's someone else's message with our face plastered on it, with our beat in it. Black people didn't used to rap about some of the crap they rap about today until rap music got hijacked and perverted. The same thing that happened to BET happened to rap. BET used to be a decent channel, but then somebody else bought it out, and look what it is today. And have you noticed that lately it seems like artists who have a positive message or a conscious message can't get any airplay? A group like Arrested Development wouldn't make it anywhere near the airways today. And what happened to all those male groups and female groups who could actually sing, like your Boys to Men's and your En Vogues? But I'm starting to get off topic a little bit, so let me fall back. I just thought of another example of putting a black face on someone else's product or someone else's message. The Rush card. Visa is using Russell Simmons to market this card to black people. This card is not black people's friend. It basically charges you to use your own damn money, just like a check cashing place. But anyway, when looking at a situation like this with the Rush card, and when looking at rap, there's a tendency by some people to want to call these people sellouts. I guess by definition they would be, but you have to remember what they're doing is just human nature. There are a lot of people out there, and I'm not excluding myself from this, who, if they were offered an insane amount of money to do something that wasn't illegal, and the money was 100% legit, they would do whatever they were asked to do. Now I know that having a lot of money creates its own special problems, but it solves a lot of problems too. The ability to not only have the peace of mind of knowing where your next meal is going to come from or having your bills paid, but the ability to buy whatever you want, to go almost anywhere you want, that's going to be an offer that most people can't refuse. Now I know all y'all are going to act all righteous now. Oh no, I would never do that no matter how much money they offer me. Yeah, that's easy to say when you've never actually been offered $1 million. I guess we'll just have to take your word for it, because most of us will never be offered that amount of money. But the point is, don't just be content with resting the blame on the messenger. There will always be people who are willing to do legal things for money, even if what they're doing may be considered to be morally wrong. Focusing on them misses the point. The point is to focus on the message they're delivering and determine whether it's a good message or a bad message. If it's a bad message, reject it, no matter who is selling the message. So stop focusing so much attention on Lil Wayne being a sellout, or Beyonce being a sellout, or 50 Cent being a sellout, because a lot of you people out there who are calling them sellouts would trade places with them at the drop of a hat. I really can't blame people for taking legal money, so don't even focus on them. Focus on the message. The lesson for today is don't swallow a pill just because a black person hands it to you. Also, I feel today's rap and hip hop has been hijacked. Someone else is using our music to get their message across, just like when Margaret Sanger spoke of hiring black preachers to help implement her racist plan. Please pay attention to the message.